All right, so in this video, we're going to cover how to set up Logic with ChordKits. So first thing you can do is you can download your file, then it should automatically be extracted. Mac does that automatically. If not, just double click on the zip and it should open. But in this case, it automatically came. Should be like that for you. If I click the folder to open it up, I can see all the presets here, and inside each preset folder, you've got a pads version and a keys version, right? One for your drum controller, like for example, I'm using the machine, so I'm going to use that to trigger, and then I can just load this version up. If I want to use my keyboard, I load up the keys version. Okay. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to go to your user folder, then your username, music, audio music apps, patches, and then instrument. And in this area, that's where you'll drag and drop your ChordKits file, your folder structure. Okay. I've already done this here. You can see it right here. And that's pretty much it. Then we're going to go into Logic. I've got a new session here. I'm going to select software instrument. Make sure you're using the latest version of Logic. And just to note that on occasion, Logic has a few bugs. And I've noticed that with the DMD, sometimes when you first load it up, it's a little buggy, and I'll show you. We'll see if it does it this time. So I'm going to select instrument, and then we're going to go to DMD, which is Drum Machine Designer. That's what we're using to access these sounds. And I've got it open here. Then here on my library, in my library, you see the user patches. If I click on user patches, then ChordKits Ocean, I can click on the first one and I'll go to pads. Now it looks like everything loaded up here, but sometimes it doesn't, and it kicks you back to some sort of drum single one shots. If it does that, all you have to do is close your UI and then go back to user patches and then select your patch again. After your patch is loaded like that, loaded up, then you'll click on DMD down here and then open up the UI. All right, so now I have my machine controller hooked up. I'm in controller mode. If you're using a machine controller, you can turn it into controller mode and then it will work. So let me go ahead and turn it off. When you turn machine on for the first time, it looks like this. It's in a dim state when it's hooked up to anything else other than the machine application. Now I'm going to hold the shift button down here and then the top left button, which is the MIDI button. Click on that button or tap on that button. And then I can see there's some MIDI parameters here and I'm good to go. So if I tap on the pads, I can play them like that. The way ChordKits works is you've got your bass on the bottom, you've got your chords, you've got a higher sound supporting the chords, and then you've got your, like a lead or some sort of higher pitch sound. You can play them all at once, or you can break them up. You can play them from left to right or however you wish. So now I've loaded up the keys patch for the same preset. I'm going to play it on my MIDI controller. This is from Native Instruments. It's just a MIDI controller. There are no sounds in here. I'm triggering sounds in Logic. In this case, our preset here. You can use any MIDI controller. You can use a small one, big one, whatever you want. I'm going to use this for the purpose of illustration so you can see how it translates from the pads over to the keys. So the same thing. How you had the rows on the pads, we're using octaves here. So we've got one octave, this is the bass, then we've got the chords, then we've got something higher supporting the chords, and then something higher pitched. So I'll go ahead and play the first section here, and we're using all the white keys. Everything starts on the octave C note, right? On each octave. So one thing to know with this controller, there is a fixed velocity option, which plays the sample at the highest velocity. Me personally, I like keeping it on. That way the sound triggers at full velocity. Now I'm using my pinky and my thumb to trigger 2 keys, 2 sounds, or how we were playing pads, it would be equal to 2 pads. So if I use both hands, pinky and thumb, I can do that as well. I can also just record and then play one at a time and come up with something cool, which is cool because sometimes you can come up with something different than when you're playing in real time. So for example, with a drum loop or something. And then play the rest in on top of that. Or you could play it together and break it up however you wish. You see, it's real easy to play because you're just using the octaves and you're moving your hands left and right. All right, the final thing I want to show you is the plugin chain that comes with each preset. So the cool thing with Logic, when you save a preset, it actually saves a plugin chain with it. And what we have here is a pitch and an effects plugin, which is this remix effects plugin. The pitch is self-explanatory. All we do is just use the semitones. So if I play something on the keyboard, I'll go ahead and play it in real time. So I can change my pitch and kind of find a different vibe that way. If you have a different pitch plugin that you like, that sounds better to you, that you use for many of your productions, feel free to swap it out. This is the one that comes with Logic. And all you have to do is change the semitones options right here. The other thing is the remix effect. Let's go ahead and play something and see what we've got. So this is the filter plugin that's baked into this remix effect. It's got a bunch of plugins in here, a bunch of effects in here, and you can click on filter if you don't want that and you want something else, and choose these other ones here. They're also available on the right side. So you've got an option at the same time to have 2 in real time to mess with. You can lock them up. So it just holds it right at that position. There's a gate here. You also can add reverb or delay on this side. And the other thing that you can do is if you have an iPad, you can use the iPad with the Logic app to control these things with your hands, with your fingers, instead of using the mouse.